Sid Meier's Sim Golf is a game where you can build, manage, and play your own golf courses. It was developed by Sid Meier, Firaxis, and Maxis, and was published by Electronic Arts in 2002. This game is abandonware, so to get a copy of it, you need to buy it secondhand or go through other means. As someone who used to enjoy playing this back in the day, it makes me a little sad that it doesn't have an enhanced edition or a digital version sold online now. Before I continue on with the review, I do want to say that I am aware of the game Golftopia. In fact, I almost got it during last year's Steam Winter Sale, but I decided to go with a different game instead. It looks like a neat modern take on what this game does and still being updated. So if you think this game looks neat and don't care for sailing the high seas, go check it out. This game has some problems running on a modern computer, but once you get it running, it's fine for the most part. I have some links to some Reddit posts that helped me get it running in the description of this video in case that helps. The resolution is locked to 800 by 600 by default, and there's no option for a windowed mode. I have found a way to get the game in a different resolution with DX Wind, but I don't think I could make a good golf course in Void. The program I did find that works is called D3 Windower. You can make the window for the game larger than the default resolution, but the game stays at 800 by 600. So if you think the game looks a little off, it's because of me doing some scaling for the video. You have 3 different choices for how to play the game. Sandbox has everything unlocked by default with unlimited money. It also unlocks all of the landmarks for standard play just by starting a course in it. Then there's Championship Mode, which lets you play a tournament with your golfer from Sandbox or the standard game in a pre-made course. The last one is Standard Play, where you start with $100,000. You get a choice of 4 courses to start with, and if you don't like one, you can re-roll until you get the one you want. The Championship and Standard Play have 4 different difficulties to choose from, ranging from easy to impossible. The differences in difficulties is what challenges you have for your golfer, whether the 3 special golfers show up based on your course's fun rating or skill rating, and how hard it is to keep the golfers on your course happy. Creating holes for your course is as simple as placing a tee and a green on the map and pressing the H key to open the hole. However, there is a lot more to making a fun and challenging golf course. Each course type has access to various tiles for you to place, but you always have 2 types of fairway, 2 roughs, a sand trap, and a water hazard. Some of the things you can place can be altered or rotated by pressing the tab key, like trees or greens. And removing something you have placed can be done by right-clicking on it twice. You are encouraged to keep tweaking different aspects of your course. Adding or removing a hazard from a hole can change how it's played, and you never have this ability taken away from you even when playing the course yourself. The only thing I don't like about altering existing holes is that moving the tee or pin closes the hole and it has to be reopened. Each hole is graded by 3 attributes: length, accuracy, and imagination. Length is based on how far the hole is from the tee, accuracy is based on how accurate the golfer's shots need to be to hit the fairway or green, and imagination is based on what kind of shots the golfer needs to make to get to the green. I found imagination to be the hardest stat to work on because of how abstract it is compared to the other 2 stats. Length and accuracy just felt more straightforward in figuring out how to alter the score. Length can be altered by moving the tee or green, and accuracy is just adding or removing fairways. The rating a hole gets can change over time as the Sims play a hole or as you make alterations to it. If you decide to move a tee or pin, the rating for the hole gets reset. As the score changes, the hole will get called a certain style of hole, like freeway, challenge, or precise. You'll want to have some diversity in the types of skills for your course. Having a course full of challenge or breather holes will eventually frustrate almost all of the golfers on your course. The ratings also play into your Sim Golf Association evaluation for tournaments. As your course grows, the requirements for tournaments goes up with it. The SGA also evaluates other things like facilities and playtime. The higher your course scores on the evaluation, the more the tournament pays out to the winners. Winning a tournament can be a massive influx of cash, so you want to do well in them. When starting a tournament, the SGA will ask you to do some things to the course like install TV towers or convert the par of certain holes, but you don't need to do them. There is a tool in the Terrain Editor tab called the Shot Analyzer that shows where golfers will attempt to make their shots. While not being the most accurate tool, it is helpful for when you run into the problem of golfers using the wrong fairway to play a hole. The best way of making sure that golfers on your course stay on the proper fairway is in placing hazards for them to avoid. Trees are usually the go-to obstacle for this, as they basically act as walls on your course. Placing hazards and obstacles only acts as a deterrent to hitting a golf ball in a certain direction. So if the problem persists, you may need to look into moving the tee or something else to keep it from happening. A lot of the difficulty in managing your golf course is using the space you have properly. If you make too many par 5s or long par 4s, you can quickly run out of room on the course. Another thing to take notice of is how you get around the course. Making the sims on the course take a long time to get from one hole to another will eventually upset them. You can swap the order of holes in the route map if you think it will help with the layout of your course. Otherwise, you need to start demolishing holes and rebuild them to hopefully get a better layout. The easiest way to test out changes made to a hole or a newly created hole is to play it yourself. Your golfer has 10 stats that affect their shots. When you decide to play your course for the first time, you get 10 skill points to allocate as you see fit. There are 2 ways to gain more skill points. The first is from playing your course and making difficult or impressive shots. This can backfire on you and lose some skill points, but for the most part you can get them back just by playing some more. The amount of skill points you can gain from playing a round of golf are limited by the size of your course. The other way to gain skill points is by completing tasks related to your golf course. You get 3 skill points per accomplishment, and the professional accomplishments menu shows you some tasks to complete as well as the ones you have already completed. You have 5 different shots to use while playing a round. The straight shot is for long straight fairways. The fade and slice are good for getting around corners. The high backspin is useful for getting the ball to stop at a specific spot. And the low run is used to get the ball out from under trees. The straight shot and low run are the only 2 shots that are available when your ball is not on a tee or fairway. The only times you don't need to make a shot yourself is when you're putting, or if you're on the fringe of the green tile the pin is on. When preparing to make a shot, you get a lot of information on it, ranging from how your pro feels to what skills they are currently using. The only information that I feel is missing is wind speed and direction. There's also some randomness in where the ball goes, so that playing around doesn't end up feeling the same as the last one. There are 3 ways to play your course. The practice round has you play against a random visitor to the course. You can be challenged to play a round against another professional golfer. Match games pay a certain amount of money to the golfer that has the better score on each hole, and another payment at the end of a round. Then there is tournament play, where you compete against several professional golfers with a prize paid out to the best golfers. There isn't any way to play a specific hole or just the back 9. Testing out changes on later holes means either messing with your course's layout or just playing the entire course from the start. When starting a tournament, all of the golfers currently on the course all go to the clubhouse. This can be useful if you just unlock golf carts, because after the tournament is over, they will all get on the carts and resume playing the round. You also need to be aware of how much money you have saved up before starting a tournament. The pro golfers on your course won't be paying for their time on the course like the regular sims will. The only income you will be getting during the tournament is from your winnings and food and drink sales. Tournaments can also take over a year to complete once your course gets big enough. You earn most of your money from the green fees the sims pay while playing your course. There isn't any way to directly change the price golfers pay to play your course or spend on food and drinks like in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Instead, the happier the sim is when finishing the hole, the more money you can get from it. There is a small boost in green fees from having the hole be in the top 100 or top 18 golf holes in the country, but you have very little control on when that happens. You can also have every hole in your course be in the top 18, which feels silly when you can own multiple courses with top 18 holes in North America. If a sim enjoys their time playing a round of golf, they will become a member of the course. They can also upgrade their membership after repeated visits, and you have expanded the course. When a member upgrades to a silver membership, you can also set aside a small plot of land to build a house on for some extra income. The houses take up a 2x2 square, and the price of the plot is determined by things like being near water, or is it going to be pelted with golf balls. The full list of things that dictates the price is listed in the routing map, and it will also show you where the best spots are. Once the house is built, the golfers on the course will comment on it saying that the empty house is ugly. Eventually, a famous sim will move into the house. The appearance of the house will change, and the golfers that notice it will now be impressed that a celebrity now owns the house. The celebrities that move in all have parody names based on real famous people. And since this game came out in early 2002, some of those people's reputation isn't what it once was. The names of the celebrities are in a text file, so if you don't care for their names, you can just change them to whatever you want. I changed them to video game characters, and you can change the names after a celebrity moves in, and the name will change in-game. There's also a text file for the professional golfers. I found only one professional golfer name that I felt had to be changed. For some reason, one of them was called Jailbait Pro, and yeah. At least changing the names is an easy fix. The only thing I couldn't find that I felt like changing was a text file for the random visitors and members that come to your course. Each sim has 5 needs that affect them. Energy is replenished by sitting at benches, hunger is filled at a snack bar or a pub, and thirst is handled by buying drinks from the soda vendor. Fun and attitude are based more on how much they're enjoying a round of golf. The golfers take care of themselves for the most part as long as you have everything they need. I just wish the game was a bit better at telling you when there's a problem, because it feels like you need to babysit some locations on your course before you notice or are told what the problem is. There are 3 special sims you need to watch out for. If they enjoy their time on your golf course, you get something from them. JP Big Dome gives you $10,000. I Am Picky lets you buy extra land to expand your course. And Ivana Richmond unlocks and gives you a free landmark to place on the course. Other than being told when they show up on your course and when to expect them again, I really didn't notice their presence on the course at all. Some of the golfers on the course can give you landmarks as well by completing their stories. You can tell which pair of golfers have a story by checking for the hearts in between the golfer's name and the golfers tab on the People's and Employees meeting. Each story has 4 parts and progresses while the golfers are enjoying the course. I think you have to watch the sims at least start the story for a chance at it to be completed. Their scorecard shows how their story is coming along, and there's another button there to attempt to force the story forward. The landmark you get from the stories is also free, and you can put it anywhere on your course. But what you get is tied to what the story is. The stories themselves are mostly silly things like an alien abduction or starting a business with a website. The landmarks themselves are small one-tile buildings that provide an effect in a small radius. The effect and how large of a radius depends on the landmark, but they all help you manage the golf course in some way. For example, some of the landmarks can brainwash the golfers into not having bad thoughts near them or stop dandelions from growing. The landmarks can vary from buildings like barns and lighthouses to Civil War statues to Stonehenge. On top of what bonus they give in an area, they can also boost the golfer's attitude from being noticed when they prepare to make a shot. As your course grows, you unlock different facilities. Some of the facilities help golfers with playing the course by improving their skills, like the pro shop and driving range. Other buildings help you make money by selling food, increasing green fees, or raising the land value of the houses. All buildings not placed directly next to the clubhouse need to be connected to it by a path. Once you make your 10th hole for the course, you can build upgraded versions of all the facilities. The upgraded versions require that you have the basic one built, but they don't need to be built on top of the old one. They do take up more space and cost more to build, though. This requires you to plan out where the buildings are going to be in advance, as removing them doesn't get you any money back. Hiring employees is rather simple. You go to the Employees tab on the menu and click the green thumbs up icon. Then you pick from one of the 4 types you need. Just like the facilities, after creating enough holes, you can hire upgraded staff. The upgraded staff do the exact same job as the basic employees, they just move faster, have a larger work radius, and cost more. The actual area that the employees will work in is a bit larger than the one shown when moving them. You can hire up to 20 employees in total, and when your golfer isn't playing a round of golf, they can act as an all-in-one employee. The employees all help with keeping everything orderly on the golf course. The only thing I have to say about them is more of a problem with how I feel about the Marshal and the Club Pro. To me, they feel like the equivalent of the security guard and the entertainers from Roller Coaster Tycoon, in that they attempt to patch over a problem but don't really address or fix it. The Club Pros help with keeping golfers' attitudes up, and the Marshals speed up slower golfers on the course. The other two employees you can hire, the soda vendor and groundskeeper, have an easily noticeable effect on your course. You can tell an area isn't overgrown with weeds with a glance a whole lot easier than which golfers have been greeted by a Club Pro. The user interface is easy to use and has almost all the information you need. Even with the small window I'm playing the game in, everything is big enough to see and is easily identifiable. Occasionally there will be pop-up messages that highlight various things about the golf course, like the golfer's comments. If you accidentally click through the message, you can display it again to see what it said. Most of the graphs and charts you have access to are useful in some way, except for the histograph, which I find completely useless. And the financial reports don't show the current year's expenses, only the past couple of years. Most of the problems I have with the interface are from what the game doesn't tell me. None of the icons displayed in the top half of the screen have a tooltip when you hover over them. Take the symbols in the top left, for example. Since I don't have the manual for this game anymore and can't find one online, I have to just guess at what they mean. It's just a bit odd because at times it feels like the game will happily tell you something, and then other times you just get nothing. The course report is another example of this. It's one of the more useful menus when designing your golf course. The problem with the menu is that the only way to know if something is wrong with a hole is that one of the boxes is red. There isn't any tooltip to narrow down the problem, and you're just left to figure out the problem on your own. It could be a design issue where a change to a hole makes it too hard, it could be some golfers just having the worst round of their life, or it could just be because the hole's a par 5. This just ends up frustrating me a bit because I know there's something wrong, I just don't know what the problem is to fix it. There isn't much music in this game, but what is there is very Sims-like, and it only plays in certain menus. When out on the course, you only hear the noises coming from the Sims playing golf or from nature. The wildlife you can find will make noises when they move, and if they get stuck, they'll keep making noises until you scroll away from them or remove them from existence with an option in the Preferences menu. The Sims also have a small range of sounds they make while playing on the course, and you will be hearing a bunch of the same noises over and over again. I encountered 2 bugs while playing. Sometimes you might inadvertently rip a hole into the ground and expose the void underneath the golf course. You can fix this by raising or lowering the land at that point. It's just one of those things that just happens, and it's hard to reproduce, so I'm happy I caught it. The other bug was that I overwrote a tee for a hole with another one, and I had to reload an older save when that happened. I couldn't get the original tee to show back up, and it seemed like my golfers were just teeing off in whatever was placed there. Overall, I enjoyed going back and playing this game, and I'm happy that it was just as fun as I remembered it. While not as exciting as managing a theme park or as relaxing as watching trains, I still find this to be a fun management game. I'm just not too thrilled about the fact that all it takes for this game to disappear now is just a few emails from some lawyer at Electronic Arts. If you think managing a golf course sounds like fun and don't mind the problems of old abandonware, you should check this game out. Or go give Golftopia a look. And thanks for watching the video.